Are you like me and you sometimes find the need to justify yourself? Find yourself making excuses? Is this sounding familiar? Are you human? That's what I'm diving around in today. So, this whole area of why we make excuses, why we feel the need to, and how that is actually disempowering us. So I'm going to give you some techniques to help you understand it and also to move through it. Sound good? Awesome. So hi, I am Kylie Ansett. I am the Alignment Whisperer, and I help I help people who are seeking alignment to get in touch with their inner wisdom. So if that's you and you're like, I know I've got the answers inside me, that's what I'm here to empower you to do, to connect with that so that you can live authentically, live your purpose, and know that you don't have to look outside yourself for the answers. That's what I'm here to do. So I'm coming to you from beautiful Sydney, Australia, and this is your daily dose of alignment. Okay, so are you guilty of it? Of making excuses? I mean, I'm sure we all are. It's a real trap, right? To to find yourself in the middle of that conversation. It's not a pleasant place to be. But what I find is that once you've kind of taken the first step, and then before you know it, you're tumbling down that hill of making excuses, you're on the back foot. And it's a really awkward place to be, right? Would you agree? Would you agree that it is not a fun place to be, and it's also hard to extricate yourself from it once you kind of get into that place? It's almost like you've committed to it, like I'm making this excuse and that's it. What do I do now? So let me tell you a story. Just the other day, I was, so I'm a massage therapist, as some of you may know. And recently, before I start, hello, is anyone noticing that my beautiful flower here, my peace lily, isn't she beautiful, is matching my earrings? Oh my gosh. I mean, I should have noticed that, but it's pretty cool. These are my friends. This is Nefertiti and I don't know, peace lily. Fish fern and peace lily. So the other day, I needed to get my massage table covered, and I got it picked up by the company that actually sold me the table a long time ago. And the vinyl gets cracked after a while because of, I don't know, it just does. I guess vinyl doesn't last. So anyway, the point was there was a lot of stuff ups with this particular interaction. So, they didn't pick it up on the day they said they wouldn't. They didn't get it back on the day they would, and they just kept stuffing me around, basically. Now, it wasn't a huge deal, but I had to know where I was because I had clients and I didn't have a table. So they fixed me up with a spare table, but then they stuffed that up too. Anyway, I ended up talking to the CEO of the company, as you do when you're kind of a little bit tired of talking to the people who keep making the mistakes. And it wasn't that I demanded to talk to the CEO. I just said, who can I talk to about this? Because clearly we're having a communication problem here. And I ended up talking to the CEO. And what he did was make a lot of excuses. Oh, we're really busy, and which is kind of what the people I was speaking to were doing as well. And I thought, that's interesting because I've been a manager. I've never been a CEO, but I've been a manager, and I know that you can't make excuses. You have to own it. To me, I thought that was like managerial 101. But obviously not everyone does that kind of thing. And I thought, well, no wonder no one was owning it if the CEO's passing the buck. But anyway, here's the point. I mean, I tell that story just to illustrate that, I'm perfect and everyone else clearly is, not at all. Look, I tell that story because it was what it ended up doing was I didn't respect where he was coming from. Whereas if he had have owned it instead of making excuses, if he had not tried to have justified and make me try to understand why they were doing the wrong thing by me, he would have got me on board. I was not upset or angry or annoyed. I was mildly annoyed. That was about the level of my annoyance, mild annoyance. It wasn't keeping me awake. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just a thing. I had to organize a thing, and I certainly had to do a few more steps to do it than what, you would hope would happen. So he didn't have to kind of like appease some irate customer or whatever, but because he wanted me to see his perspective, and of course that, I could have done that and quite easily, and on the phone I kind of did like, oh yeah, sure, you're busy, okay. But when I got off the phone, I thought, but hang on a minute. That's kind of making excuses. And it made me think about the times when I've made excuses and how, from the person that you're making the excuses to perspective, they can see right through it, right? Like, it's rare that we sit there and go, oh, okay, you're busy, so that's okay to inconvenience me or whatever. Like, we rarely do that. We see right through it and we go, you're trying to slide away from this. And so I was thinking, when I do that, I think, like, I'll tell you why this is happening. Let me justify this. But really, all I'm doing is deflecting responsibility to someone else, something else, the environment, the government, the whatever. And by doing that, I'm disempowering myself. Now, this is the real message of this little message. It's disempowering, because can I control the environment? Can I control the government? Can I control other people? Now, clearly, if I'm the CEO of a company, supposedly I can control other people, but you can't really. I mean, anyone who has ever run a company knows that the biggest potential asset or liability is their staff, because they don't have any control over them. It is outside of their realm of control. And the level of control is, you got a job or a raise or you're sacked. Like, that's about as far as it goes. But as far as really, the only thing we really have control over is ourselves. Now, I am going to own, this is big. I like to control things, as I think a lot of people do. I don't call myself a control freak, and I don't resonate with that because it doesn't run my life. And I also think that term is, it certainly does describe a certain type of person, but I wanted that table delivered on a certain day. That was me feeling out of control. So, like, how do we look at these things? What do I have control about? I have control about how I feel. Now, as I said, it didn't hugely upset me. It upset me like 2%. But I was more in the place of being open-minded. I have the control over whether I get really upset or not. I have the control over whether, how I react, how I perceive things. That's what I'm trying to say. You always have the ability to do that, but when you deflect and justify and make excuses, what's happening is you're disempowering yourself. You're disconnecting from your inner alignment. So here's the thing I'm going to get you to do. Try next time you find yourself taking that first step towards making excuses, just try this just for a moment before you get too far down the hill and you're tumbling, kind of to the bottom of the hill you're tumbling to the bottom of a hill without, it's too far. I'm too far gone. I'm making all the excuses. Next time that happens, just for a moment, if you catch yourself in time, just take a breath, take a moment, and just own it. Tune into how you're feeling. What's actually happening in that moment when you're about to make the excuse why you didn't do the thing, or you did. Like, no doubt, being human, when we feel like that, we're feeling less than. We're feeling that we did something wrong, or we didn't do something, or we didn't keep our word, or whatever it is. So just for a moment, sit with that, because what happens is, as soon as we feel that feeling of like, oh, I didn't do the thing that I was meant to do, we hate that feeling so much that we instantly go into making excuses. It's not me, it's them, it's not me, it's because it was raining, it's because, it's because we have a Labor government, or it's because, I actually don't even know if we have a Labor government. But if we do, it's because of this. It's because we've got the other one, the Liberal government. It's because, it's because my mother did that thing to me when I was a kid. can you see, like this is what ends up happening. We hate so much feeling that feeling of, oh, I did something wrong, that we will deflect it and blame anyone and everything and find really good things. Like, we are good at it. It happens in a split second. We have a very strong neural pathway that takes us to find, like, look outside for the reasons why. But here's the thing. When you do that, you are out of control. You have no control over the situation. Whereas if you just for a moment allow yourself to feel that bit of discomfort of having let someone down or not kept your word or whatever the thing is, and those are kind of the common ones that instigate this excuse making, this justification rampage that we go on. Just sit with it for a second. Now, it's going to feel uncomfortable. I know. Just be okay with it. It's not going to kill you. You will not drop dead, I promise you. But just sit with it for a second and own it. Now, if you're interacting with someone else, which you almost always are in these situations, see if you can do this. This is taking it to the next step, and this is pretty full on, but if you can do this, you will be completely empowered. You will be completely in control of the situation, and you will actually get the very respect that making excuses will lose you. Now, if you don't believe me, all I can say is try it out. So what I'm going to suggest you do is, first of all, you sit with it, you tune in and go, how am I feeling right now? This all takes a split second, right? You don't say, hang on a moment, let me just, it happens, you go, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm feeling like I let this person down, I'm feeling like I did the wrong thing. It's usually the kind of stuff. Now, this is the big step. Own it, speak it, say it to that person. Now, if you can do that, you're a bigger woman than I. No, you're not really. No, you like I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy to do that, especially if you have a habit of the other way, a habit with that person of the other way. But if you do it, it will change the dynamic, or it will set up an interaction which is entirely empowering and will put you up on some kind of a mountaintop pedestal, whatever. Like, you will be the, oh my God, did she just say that? So you would say something like, tune in, say, oh, look, I'm feeling really uncomfortable now. I am aware that I let you down, and I hate letting people down, but I did it. I let you down. I did the wrong thing. I said I would be there and I wasn't. I said I would do it and I didn't. And you know, I hate doing that so much, but I just want to own up that that's what I did, and that's how I'm feeling, and it was the wrong thing to do. Now, so it's a whew kind of feeling once you do that. It's incredibly relieving. It says what everyone's thinking. Like you're thinking that anyway, and so are they. But now it names it, it says it, you go, yeah, like, I own it. And they will 100% respect you for that in a way that possibly they've never respected anyone like that before, because very few people do this. It will then it will leave a clean slate, right? Rather than having, like, moving on from like, oh, well, it was because, you know, my daughter was late from dance recital, and so then I didn't get here, and then the car broke down and I got a flat tire. Rather than having this kind of, because you say that and you're feeling those words I just spoke. You're feeling that, but you're saying something different. But your feelings coming across, the other person knows that, senses the feeling, relates to the feeling, knows that whatever but excuses are coming out are kind of, you know, just words. And they relate to you on the feeling, and there's a loss of respect. You let me down, and now you're not owning it, which very few people do, like I said. So there you go. There's the thing. Now, that's kind of a big, it is a big thing. I know it's a big thing. I'm not saying it's not, but try it once and then see how it feels. Then try it twice and see how it feels. And by the time you've tried it half a dozen times, there's going to be a bit of a habit pattern forming, a new one, not the old one, a new one. And the sense of control that it gives you. Now, if you like to have control, and like, who likes to have control? Is that you? Because yeah, like it is me, definitely. That now I'm in control. Like, I have no control of the government. I don't. I have no control over the weather or the flat tire. Like, I don't. But I have control over whether I say that sentence to someone or not. And then where we move to from there is from a completely clean slate. There's no murky, unspoken, beneath the surface kind of feelings that are getting in the way, simply by saying it for how it is. Now, it's so ironic, because we think that if we verbalize it like that, that we'll be making ourselves lesser, but we're doing the opposite. I mean, if you heard someone say that, if they had let you down, if someone said that to you, what would you think of them? Would you think, oh, that arrogant SOB, You wouldn't. You'd go, oh my God, like, I'm impressed. Whatever they did that's let you down, you've forgotten about that. Way forgotten. You've just going, this person is being real with me. And how often is it that we're real with someone? Like, how often does that happen? So you're giving them a gift at the same time as clearing the slate, at the same time as empowering yourself, at the same time as getting control. Like, why aren't we all doing this? Oh my God, they should teach this in school. Anyway, the point is that the first time you do something that you've never done before, it will feel awkward and it will feel uncomfortable. And then the second time it will be less so, and the third time. And by the time you've done it multiple times, it will become your default position. And I guarantee that if you start doing this, the interpersonal relationships you have with yourself, with your partner, with your family members, with your co-workers, with your boss, with your employees, with your anything is going to improve. Like, out of this world improve. Does that sound pretty good? Does it sound like I'm promising you the world a little bit here? Maybe I am. Try it and get back to me and tell me if it didn't work. Like, get back and tell me that I was wrong, because I don't think you will. I think you got to try it first. So anyway, thank you so much for playing with me today in the Alignment Sandbox. I hope that was fun for you. It was fun for me. And until we meet again, I want you to know that the power is within you. Bye.